Okay, guys, back again. Hopefully, this is going to be the last video. Number 18. When Danny left Miami, Florida, it was 62 degrees Fahrenheit. When he arrived in Fargo, North Dakota, the temperature was negative 5 degrees Fahrenheit. What was the difference in the temperatures between Miami and Fargo? Okay, so on this one, you could actually write a subtraction problem because that's what difference means. And so the problem you would write would be 62 minus a negative 5. Now, I know that seems weird, but we're taking our larger temperature minus our lower temperature, okay? But remember, when we're subtracting integers, our rule is add the opposite, okay? So instead of 62 minus a negative 5, we're going to do a 62 add the opposite of negative 5, which is positive 5, which would be 67 degrees. So I know what you're thinking. That's kind of weird, Ms. Dalton. Why did I get a positive answer? That's really big. Okay. Think of it this way. Here's a thermometer. Here is 0 degrees Fahrenheit. Here is 62 degrees Fahrenheit. This is Florida. And then I have a negative 5 degrees Fahrenheit in Fargo, North Dakota. Okay. So really what we're looking for is the total change in temperature from Florida to North Dakota. So if I start at 62 degrees and I know the temperature is dropping, you have to think of it as like steps. Like how far away, how many steps is it temperature-wise from 62 degrees on the positive side to negative 5 degrees on the negative side. So if I start at 62 and I head in this direction and I stop at 0, I'm dropping 62 degrees, okay? Or I'm walking or whatever, 62 degrees, I'm taking 62 steps. And then from 0 to negative 5, I'm taking 5 more steps. So I'm finding the total distance from our hottest temperature and our highest temperature and lowest temperature. And so when you add the 62 and the 5, that will give you the 67 degrees difference between the two, okay? All right, number 19. Which of the following expressions is equivalent to positive 5 or equal to positive 5? Okay, well, remember your tic-tac-toe for multiplying and dividing integers. Remember, this only works for multiplying and dividing. All right, letter I, letter 1, a negative 25 divided by a negative 5, that's a negative times a negative equals a positive 5. So that one works so far. Next one is a positive 1 times a negative 5. So positive times a negative is going to give you a negative 5. So that one's out. We have a positive 30 divided by a positive 6. Positive is positive. So it's going to give you a positive 5 and check. And then we have a positive 5 times a negative 10. This one again, positive times negative is negative 50. Okay, so our answer choices are going to be 1 and 3 only, which is letter C. Okay, number 20. Which equation represents the absolute value of negative 9? So if I were to write this in math symbols and terms, it would look like this. The absolute value of negative 9. And remember, absolute value is distance from 0. So how many steps away from 0 is negative 9? And that would be 9 steps. So remember, absolute value is distance from 0, so it's always going to be positive. So it's going to look like answer choice A, which is correct. Okay. Number 21, Kimberly is selling popcorn for a fundraiser at school. Each student needs to sell a minimum of 20 buckets of popcorn. Kimberly has sold 8 buckets so far. Which inequality represents the number of buckets B that Kimberly still needs to sell. Okay, so a minimum of 20 buckets means that whatever my variable is over here has to be greater than or equal to 20, because 20 is the smallest amount that I can sell. So that means I can sell 20 or more. Okay, so Kimberly has already sold 8 buckets. So she needs to sell more. Okay, so sell more buckets, which we don't know what they are, so variable B. So 8 plus B, our unknown amount, has to be greater than or equal to 20. Okay, if you take the number of buckets that she still needs to sell and subtract 8, well, first of all, hang on, our minimum of means greater than or equal to. Minimum of means greater than or equal to. So look at your symbol first of all. This guy's out because he's less than or equal to. And the rest of these are greater than or equal to. So now we got to go back. Number of buckets that she still needs to sell plus 20 more are greater than or equal to 8. Okay, that's not exactly right. It's got everything we need, but they're not in the right order. Okay, because we know that we have to have 20 or more. So the 20 needs to be over here. That's our goal. We're going to get to 20 or more. Okay. If she takes 8 buckets that she has sold so far times the number of buckets that she still needs to sell, that kind of doesn't make sense because we're not multiplying. And so that leaves our only option as this guy. She's already sold 8. She needs to sell more to get an amount that's greater than or equal to 20. Okay. Alrighty, 22. Joe charges $10 per hour for his lawn care services. He currently is earning money to attend a concert. He needs to earn $150 or more to attend the concert. So he needs $150 or more. Whoops. He needs $150 or more. And he charges $10 per hour. Okay. Which solution best represents the number of hours Joe needs to work? Okay. So you actually have to take that 150 and divide by 10, because you need to figure out how many hours he's got to work or more. And you're going to get, that's a 5. That should be a 0. Just kidding. 1 times 10 is 10, not 15. So this is going to be 5. I was thinking, when something looks weird here, I'll just rewrite it. Just kidding. 15 minus 10 is 5. Bring down the 0, and that'll give you a 15, no remainder. Okay, so he's got to work 15 hours or more to earn $150 or more. Okay, so remember, he needs 150 or more. So he needs greater than or equal to $150. Okay, so remember, greater than or equal to equals means a closed circle. Okay, because it's got that equal sign on there. So this guy is an open circle. He's out. This guy is just an open circle, but there's no arrow going in any direction, so that guy's out. This guy is a closed circle moving in the right direction, arrow, which would be greater than. This guy is a closed circle moving in the left direction, which would be a less than. We need 150 or more. We need 15 hours or more or greater, which is going to be answer choice C. Okay, number 23, we talked about this last week. The table below shows the hours worked and the total pay earned. We've got number of hours, 1, 2, 3. Total pay earned, 15, 30, 45. Which of the following is true about the quantities? Okay, remember, you're going to see independent and dependent. The independent variable determines the dependent variable, okay? So letter A says the values for H represent the independent quantities. Okay, so the independent, if H is independent, so 1 hour worked determines your $15 paid. True or false? Okay, that's a true. Letter B, the values for P represent the dependent quantities. So I get paid P based on how many hours I work. So my pay depends on my hours worked. True or false? That is a true. Letter C, the values of for H represent the dependent quantities. We already said true on A, so C must be false. And then D, both A and B are correct. Well, since we have two trues, then that means D is correct. Okay, so this was the last question for on level classes. You can stop here if you only had 23 questions. Pre-AP, we got a few more to do. Here we go. Number 24, what is the value of the expression below? Okay, so here's PEMDAS again. Start off with parentheses. 6 divided by 3 is 2. Put it back in parentheses for now. Put the exponent on the outside. Put the 4 on this outside. Plus 11. Okay, parentheses, exponents, multiply or divide. And then add or subtract. Or subtract and add, either one, whichever one you see first when you're reading left to right. Okay, so I've done parentheses check. Let's do exponents. 2 to the second power is 4, but keep them in parentheses because there are still parentheses with this guy, which means multiply, plus 11. 4 times 4 is 16, plus 11 is 27. Answer for number 24. Okay. 25, the model represents the equation 3x minus 2 equals negative 11, okay? So this one I kind of let you guys work out on your own. I want to see what you were going to do. Some of you solved it using the model. Some of you just solved it by using substitution. So what value of x makes 3x minus 2 equals negative 11 true? So a lot of you guys just went in and you replaced the x with the value here. So 3 times negative 13 minus 2 equals a negative 11. Okay, so 3 times negative 13 is a negative 39 minus 2. Okay, well, if I'm at a negative 39 and I take away 2 more, that's going to give me a negative 41. I'm looking for negative 11, so A is not going to work. B, 3 times 13, which is positive this time, minus 2 equals negative 11. You're going to get 39 positive minus 2, and that's going to give you 37, so that's not going to work either. 3 times negative 9 minus 2 equals negative 11. That's going to give you a negative 27. Take away 2. So if I have a negative 27 and I take away 2 more, it's going to be a negative 29. Again, not my answer. And then finally, 3 times negative 3 minus 2 equals negative 11. 3 times negative 3 is negative 9, and then I'm going to take away 2 more, which is going to give me negative 11, which is going to be my answer. Now, just for fun, I'll show you how to use the picture to solve your answer, okay? So this is a balance scale, which means both sides need to be equal. If I cancel out this negative 1 and this negative 1, with 2 negative 1s over here, I'm left with 1, 2, 3 x's and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 negatives. So this 1x can go with these 3 negatives. This x can go with these 3 negatives, and this x can go with these 3 negatives, which means 1x equals negative 3 in each group. Bam. Okay, 26. I hope I've got time for this. I'm going to make this real quick. We're looking for the set of integers. The answer is D because all of these guys have decimals in them, which make them rational numbers. So we're looking for the set of integers, boom, D.